The brand new changes to Afghanistan and Iraq.
Welcome to our second country showcase video for the upcoming expansion, Graveyard of Empires.
Quite excited about this.
I'm Peter Nicholson, game director for Hearts of Iron, and today we'll explore historical alternative paths for the nations Afghanistan and Iraq. First, we have one of the most intriguing and overlooked nations of Hearts of Iron 4, Afghanistan. Known as the Graveyard of Empires, Afghanistan sits at the crossroads of Asia, surrounded by powerful neighbors with competing interests. In Graveyard of Empires, Afghanistan gets a brand new focus tree that offers players an array of historical and alternative paths, all while grappling with the nation's unique challenges, unstable politics, external pressures, and a rugged landscape that's as much an obstacle as it is a defense. If you choose to keep Afghanistan on its historical trajectory, your goal is to maintain neutrality while avoiding the unwanted attention of both the British Raj and the Soviet Union. It's not an easy task. Both neighbors see Afghanistan as a key piece in their great game of influence. You'll work to modernize the state just enough to strengthen it without alarming the
I see TommyKay focus tree.
Soviets or British into intervening.
Make sugar.
Build up a defensive military. Negotiate trade agreements.
Afghanistan Bank. What is that, a rep crew?
And play the long game. Survive the war intact, and you might just emerge as a stronger, more united country, ready to step onto the post-war stage. This branch, however, also has
retired the uncles. What the fuck?
Options to depart from the historical trajectory by strengthening the young Zahir Shah at the expense of his power-hungry uncles. This enables Afghanistan to move towards parliamentary democracy, or even a republic. Depending on choices made throughout this path, the establishment of a republic can allow Afghanistan to gain cores on more territory, or transform into a new nation such as Pashtunistan. Afghanistan's communist path embraces Soviet support to overthrow the monarchy, collectivize agriculture, and industrialize. A successful revolution secures Comintern.
One of my favorite fucking things in HOI4 is formable nations, a goal, something to form, something that's really missing in vanilla. But here you can do the social
membership, allowing expansion into Central Asia and forming a new socialist state. But what if Afghanistan didn't settle for neutrality in World War II? What if Amanullah Khan, the reformist monarch who was overthrown in 1929, returned to power with a vengeance? To restore him, you must rally opposition, possibly swaying Germany's support, and lead a civil war.
Afghanistan is used to civil
His
wars.
Reforms, industrialization, education, and women's empowerment will spark resistance from traditionalists and clergy. Once stabilized, Afghanistan can align with the Axis, challenging the Soviets in Central Asia or pushing south to dominate the Indian subcontinent. Afghanistan's military tree offers two distinct paths.
That's really interesting, because really lately I feel very meta again. I feel like I care about the meta of HOI4, and especially multiplayer, they might use this focus tree, right, in the Road for 6 mod. Now what are they good at? But yeah, dominate the mountains, and mountain training shows you already what's kind of going on. They probably have insane mountaineers.
Will you maintain the traditional levy-based army that draws upon local tribes and their age-old knowledge of guerrilla warfare? Or will you modernize, creating a professional standing army equipped with artillery, tanks, and aircraft? The levy path excels at defensive warfare and is perfect for players who want to hold out against more powerful foes in Afghanistan's rugged terrain without a reliance on an industrial economy. Meanwhile, the professional army path allows for a more offensive playstyle. But modernization requires major investment in infrastructure, industry, and training. Both paths will have their advantages, and choosing the right one will depend on the challenges you face. Afghanistan's industrial branch is a delicate balancing act. On one hand, you have the rising middle class and reformers who demand modernization. Factories.
What does the middle class in Afghanistan look like, man? The opium farmers? What the fuck is the middle class in Afghanistan?
Railroads, and a central government capable of governing effectively. On the other hand, the rural elite and tribal leaders expect the status quo to remain, fiercely opposing any changes that threaten their power or traditions. As new universities are established, their graduates will expect jobs. Otherwise, they will turn to alternative ideologies in the form of a ticking national spirit. World
56 has announced they will get the new focus trees and get rid of their own focus trees. That's really cool.
Boosting parties opposed to the current government.
I'm really into multiplayer.
Now,
lately, man.
Let's set our sights on a nation caught in the whirlwind of great power politics. A land rich in oil but plagued by instability. Iraq, navigate the shadows of military conspiracies, and determine whether Iraq will bow to foreign interests or carve out its own destiny. Will you secure Britain's favour and build a Hashemite empire? Will you break free from imperial control and forge a regional alliance? The choice is yours.
Way to Iraq. I'm excited to achievement run. I'm excited, man.
Iraq's Hashemite monarchy exists in a precarious position. Installed by the British in the aftermath of the First World War, it must balance between maintaining legitimacy at home and keeping the favour of its foreign patrons. Walking this tightrope offers both risks and rewards.
Achievement runs are, would you rather see me do AI China and cool challenges or achievement runs? Achievement runs are very, even though I think lately, 2025 Tommy, I'm a bit more positive in my brain and I'm not so quickly negative. So achievement runs could be good. I'm gonna make one soon.
Should you choose to cozy up to London, you'll gain economic and military support in exchange for certain adjustments to your sovereignty. Gradual territorial concessions and agreements on oil will ensure a steady flow of British investment, arming and industrializing Iraq under the watchful eyes of the empire. However, this road does not have to end in subservience. With careful diplomacy and statecraft, Iraq can leverage British support to expand Hashemite rule, either through the creation of a Hashemite federation that unites Iraq and Transjordan, or by pursuing an even more ambitious vision, the restoration of the Hashemite Caliphate, using British backing to lay claim to leadership.
I love formidable nations, man. I'm telling you, I've been telling Paradox. In a DLC, a focus tree, there should be formidable nations as a goal. Give the player a goal, right? That they play the game and they form something in the end. They have something like a trophy in the end. Okay, I think that's such a beautiful thing.
Of the Islamic world.
Very good.
Of course, the longer British troops remain in Iraq, the more resentment will fester among the people. For those who see Iraq's reliance on Britain as a chain rather than an opportunity, there is another path. The military coup of General Bakr Siddiqui. Historically Iraq's first modern military dictator, Siddiqui represents a new direction for the country. By backing his coup, you can turn Iraq into an independent and militarized power, rejecting foreign interference in favor of forging an alliance with Turkey and Iran, the two other regional powers wary of British and Soviet ambitions. Together, these nations can stand united against imperialist forces, ensuring their survival in a world dominated by global giants. This path requires careful diplomacy and a willingness to challenge British influence while avoiding outright war until you are ready. If played correctly, Iraq can become the dominant force in the Middle East without being anyone's pawn. By supporting the Golden Square, a group of radical officers inspired by fascism and Arab nationalism, you can overthrow the Hashemite monarchy. Historically, this coup led Iraq into a short-lived war with Britain, but with the right moves, you can turn it into something much greater. By throwing your lot in with the Axis, you can rally the Arab world against the imperialist powers. German support to launch military campaigns aimed at unifying the Middle East under Iraqi rule, with enough ambition and firepower.
The problem with videos like this is, I just want to play it. I just want to play it, man.
You could redraw the map entirely, casting aside the artificial borders left behind by colonial powers. But the enemies you make along the way will not take this lightly. Can you survive the wrath of the British, the Turks, and the Persians long enough to build a truly united Arab state? Regardless of which path you take, one thing remains true. Iraq sits atop one of the most valuable resources in the world. The oil fields of Iraq can be exploited to fund rapid industrialization, equipping your armies and fueling economic.
What I'm always interested in, this is something I really like to think about, is what is a nation good at? I like to always play very, very good. So you look at a nation and you see what advisor they have and what bonuses in the focus tree to military. What are they good at militarily? That's what I always think is super interesting. We can obviously see mechanized, shit ton of infantry stuff, cavalry, kind of whatever. Camel corps, actually not that bad. Bit of armor.
How you wield this wealth depends on your political situation.
Like Afghanistan,
a British-aligned Iraq will see much of its oil wealth siphoned off in exchange for industrial and military aid. A militarized independent Iraq will need to develop its own petroleum industry, relying on domestic initiatives to fuel its growth. Meanwhile, fascist Iraq, aligned with the Axis, can use oil as leverage, trading with Germany and Italy to secure weapons and infrastructure. Oil is both a blessing and a curse. Manage it well, and you will have the means to build a modern nation.
I'm excited, man.
Fail, and Iraq could become an imperialist puppet once again.
Fucking in, dude.
Tolerate the British, and you can leverage their support for Iraq's modernization. Resist them diplomatically, and you may carve out an independent...
Yeah, but Iraq, you probably want to do infantry early, and then you want to step into air or mechanized light tanks or something, because you have the oil, man. You have the oil. But man, if I'm Iran, if I'm Turkey, if I'm Abdulaziz, man, you gotta take down the oil of Iraq. Today I was walking around the street after training, and I was having my Abdulaziz t-shirt, and a guy knew me. Oh, TommyKay. In Germany, we have 2 forms of you, the formal one and the good one, like du and sie. And I was walking down the street, and the guy goes, Entschuldigen Sie, which kind of means, sorry, sir. And I'm like, what the fuck, are you TommyKay? And he looks at me, and I have the Abdulaziz shirt, and he says, nice t-shirt. So that's a cool story, shout out to him. But he called me sir, that was fucked up.
Independent position without bloodshed. Defy them completely, and you had better be ready to fight. An enraged Britain has the means to crush Iraq if provoked too soon, so timing is everything. Iraq is a nation brimming with potential and danger. Sandwiched between great powers, blessed with...
Is that a bit of an Easter egg? That Syria has content?
Vast oil reserves and divided between competing political movements, it is a country poised for either greatness...
Syria is normally French. Dude, that was just a fucking Easter egg, wasn't it?
Thank you for tuning in. Next,
there will be some fucking achievement. Real life, as Syria fully invade Germany. Haha, it's a joke.